Uh, Wanted to throw together another quick PB Maxima video today. This is what I've been working on here lately. We'll take a look at the shock, an assembled shock, using the shock bodies that I had printed by Shapeways. And this material is PA12. Not the cheapest one, but not the most expensive one either. So I did assemble a shock. I used a 7/16 internal retaining clip, and that was kind of by design, to hold the bushing in place. I'm going to call this a bushing. That may be wrong. And this bushing holds an O-ring that slides on the shaft, as well as an O-ring that seals the bushing to the shock body. Everything went together well. Everything fit okay. I tapped this, I call this a vent hole for an M3 screw. That sealed up great. The shock kind of, it's smooth. The valve size was just right. Everything was good. However, overnight, I noticed that there was a lot of shock oil seeping out, and I assumed that was seeping out around the O-ring for the bushing, the outer O-ring. So I don't know if you've ever had anything printed in PA12. I think you can pay a little bit more and have a smoother surface or smoother finish. I didn't go for that here, and maybe I should have. So I think maybe the internal surface where that O-ring hangs out is just not smooth enough to make a good seal. Otherwise, dimensionally, everything was spot on. I was really happy with it. Now, one thing I wasn't happy with is that while I was trying to assemble the second shock, and that's got a little, sorry, one moment, I wiped some of the oil off of that. While I was trying to assemble the second shock, I was trying to put this retaining clip in, and I got a split. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, right there. Hope this shows up. That just split. Now, that's probably only, say, 50 thousandths of an inch wide to begin with, so it was just a little bit too much when I was trying to put that in place. So anyhow, that's good to know. The PA12 material that I had, that I use for these, is probably not strong enough for the job. However, it was a good prototyping material in this case. I mean, one is somewhat functional, though it leaks. So anyhow, I did go ahead with the plan, which was to have these printed up in aluminum. The order's in. I had a front set of shock bodies printed up in aluminum as well, and then also 4 of the valves, not the oblong valves, but the circular valves, I printed up in, I believe I just went with PA12 because that should be fine for this piece. So aluminum shock bodies are on the way. They should fit because these fit. And the only thing that concerns me a little bit is whether or not the surface will be smooth enough to seal, to have a O-ring seal up against it good enough to keep the oil in place. So we'll see. This car should look really cool with a nice set of aluminum shock bodies that matches the original design. So then the next thing, we'll kind of move that out of the way. The next thing I was gonna look at was replacing this, I'll call it a skid plate. It mounts to the chassis, front of the chassis under the gearbox, let's say. Mounts like that. And then the bumper in turn mounts to the top. This car has a little channel in the bumper for the sway bar, and every PB Maxima or PB Minima I've ever come across has this guy all beat up. I don't know if it just cracks over the years or if it's from an impact or what. You can kind of see that this little piece is lifting here, and I mean, I assume this was one solid piece, but it's just kind of strange. Not a very good part. Luckily I found a seller here in the States that had a bumper, some suspension parts, some upper suspension arms for a mini Mustang, some shock parts, a new diff set, so it's got all the plastic gears for the diff. These seem to be okay, but it'd be nice to have some of those. Anyhow, so that lot is on the way if anything ever moves in the U.S. Postal Service again anymore. You're like, just your parts just sit in the middle of the country somewhere and never move. I guess it's not cool to complain about that kind of stuff during COVID, but it's a little frustrating how slow things are shipping these days, unless you're buying from Amazon, which seems to always show up fast. Anyhow, so right now I'm working to redesign this piece here, because kind of like with the bumper, every PB Mini Mustang or Maxima I've seen, there's cracks formed there. I don't know, again, I mean, you can see this is taking a few impacts, but it doesn't look like anything too harsh ever happened to it. I just think it's the design right there. There's a sharp, kind of a sharp corner where this kick up meets the lower skid plate, and I think it's just really thin right there and tends to snap or crack with the stress or old age. Anyhow, this is about 0.1 inches thick, and I went with 0.15 inches on the redesign. Otherwise, I tried to keep everything the same. This little cutout here is to give you some clearance for the front diff. So I tried to copy that as best I could. So now I'm gonna order this, and I think the PA 12 should be fine. Maybe nylon would be best. If I can, I may go that route. At any rate, it should be better than this old guy. These parts are just really hard to find. This bumper is incredibly rare, but we did manage to find one. I got a new set of wheels, although these wheels are in okay shape. Need some tires. So just real fast, we'll go look at the CAD drawing for the skid plate, and then that'll be it for today. Okay, oops, sorry about that. Get my beer. There's a sleeping cat. Hey, buddy. Okay. This is an old version of Autodesk Inventor from a long time ago, and I don't know how much I'll be able to show you here because I need to have a finger on the keyboard, and I'm holding the camera with that finger. Let's see what we can do here. That's gonna be impossible. I'd like to rotate it for you, but I think I'd have to do it with my foot. anyhow, that's, yeah, this doesn't make for good TV. Let me see, I think I can do it manual. Okay, here, never mind, I just don't know what I'm doing. That's the part drawn up. Wouldn't really be able to notice that it was thicker. But everything's there. You know, when I'm laying out a part like this, I'm measuring everything with calipers, but you know, on some of this old stuff, you can only estimate some of these angles and dimensions. Try to get the holes where they need to be, obviously, but otherwise, this stuff doesn't have to be perfect. Clearance. We got enough plastic everywhere. Hopefully Shapeways won't give me a hard time about any of these areas being too thin. Down here where this little cutout is, things get a little weird. I did the best I could there, so we'll see. But anyhow, yeah, that's the next part that I'll have printed up by Shapeways. And again, with the aluminum shock bodies, that I'll probably wait. There won't be any more videos on the PB Maxima until those come in, and that could be maybe February. But if anybody's interested, let me know, or needs a part for a PB Maxima. I can definitely do my best to try to get a drawing and get you a file that you can have sent, you know, to Shapeways or some other service, or you could print yourself, I suppose. I do have a 3D printer, this guy over there, an old Robo 3D, but in my experience it prints okay with PLA, but anytime I've tried ABS, the parts just warp so bad. They just end up being junk or peeling themselves off the glass bed while printing. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Let's hope that Green Bay beats Tampa and that Kansas City beats Buffalo. And enjoy your day. Thanks.